Ever felt like there's a hidden manual for understanding some women, one your dad, your brother, not even your closest friends ever handed you? You're not alone, and you're certainly not imagining things. There's a profound, often subtle undercurrent in some women that no amount of well-meaning advice can truly prepare you for. It's not the fiery upfront drama of an argument that catches you off guard. No, this is something far more insidious. It's a creeping darkness that manifests in the chilling silences that stretch for days, in the sudden, inexplicable emotional distance that feels like a chasm opening between you. It's in the way her eyes, once warm and inviting, can suddenly look right through you, as if you've become transparent, insignificant, no longer truly real in her world. You might be standing right there, but you've already vanished from her emotional landscape. If you've ever felt that chilling sense of erasure, that feeling of being ghosted while still physically present, then you know you're on the precipice of understanding a truth many men learn the hard way. This isn't about a bad mood. It's about a deeply rooted pattern, and failing to recognize it early can cost you more than just your time. It can cost you a piece of your soul. Here's the raw, unvarnished truth that often gets whispered but rarely shouted. Some women navigate the world burdened by such profound past wounds, such deeply ingrained survival mechanisms, and such an unacknowledged thirst for control that love, for them, unconsciously morphs into a weapon rather than a nurturing gift. You, with your genuine intentions and open heart, step into her life thinking you can be her peace, her savior, the one to finally show her what real love feels like. You see her vulnerability, hear her stories of past hurts, and your instinct is to protect, to heal, to offer solace. But here's the devastating twist, my friend. In these specific dynamics, you are not her peace. You are, more often than not, her unwitting emotional project. You become a phase in her journey, a means to an end, an unknowing participant in a power trip she might not even be consciously aware she's orchestrating. She might articulate a desire for a good man, and your heart leaps because you are a good man. But beneath the surface of those words, what she often truly craves is something else entirely: control, validation, and a sense of power over someone she perceives as softer, more pliable than the men who previously fractured her. She hasn't healed. She's in a way hunting for an emotional salve, for a way to feel whole, even if it's at your expense. Now, it's crucial to state this clearly. This isn't a blanket condemnation of all women. Far from it. Many women are whole, radiant, kind, and capable of profound, healthy love. But we're talking about a specific archetype here, those who carry their unhealed darkness like a potent, intoxicating perfume. From a distance, it can seem alluring, mysterious, even captivating. You see the enchanting smile, the apparent softness, the disarming way she confides, "I've been hurt before." Your empathy kicks in, your desire to shield her from further pain. But beware, because that very hurt, that unaddressed pain, often becomes the silent, insidious justification for the pain she will, slowly and methodically, inflict upon you. It might not be with loud accusations or overt cruelty. Instead, it's a gradual erosion, a quiet chipping away at your confidence, your peace, often accompanied by a smile that leaves you utterly confused. So, let's get brutally honest about what many men need to internalize. Some women aren't genuinely seeking love in its truest, most reciprocal form. They are, often unconsciously, looking for someone to bleed on, someone onto whom they can project the pain inflicted by all the men who came before you. Don't let yourself become that emotional punching bag, artfully disguised as her safe space. The key is to recognize the signs early, to learn to watch her patterns of behavior with a discerning eye rather than getting swept away by her words or your own hopeful projections. Because her path, while it might look beautiful and inviting from afar, is often littered with the emotional remains of good, well-intentioned men who simply never saw what hit them until it was too late. It's not enough to poetically say, "Some women walk a dark path." That sounds like a line from a tragic novel, but it's practically useless unless you know how to spot the warning signs before you're knee-deep in the quicksand. Most men who fall into these damaging dynamics aren't weak. They're often compassionate, trusting, and unfortunately blind to the subtle patterns that whisper far louder than her most convincing words. Let me show you what this darkness truly looks like, broken down into 6 crucial signs that indicate a woman isn't ready for genuine love, but rather poised to devour it. First, she weaponizes her pain instead of actively healing it. You'll hear it echoing in the way she talks about her ex-partners, not with a tone of mature reflection or lessons learned, but with a persistent, sharp-edged venom. Her heartbreak isn't a historical event she's processed and integrated. It's a perpetually bleeding wound, and you, my friend, are often cast in the role of the emotional bandage, constantly trying to staunch a flow that she, herself, isn't trying to stop. She doesn't seek love as a catalyst for growth or mutual betterment. She seeks it to soothe her bruised ego, to feel a sense of winning after past perceived defeats. Her validation comes not from building a genuine reciprocal bond with you, but from watching you worship her, from feeling adored and prioritized. This kind of woman hasn't transmuted her pain into wisdom. She's hardened it into a strategic tool. You'll catch glimpses of this when every deep, intimate conversation inevitably circles back to her reliving past traumas again and again, like a broken record. Yet, despite the constant retelling, there's no discernible forward movement, no new insights, no healing. She's just dragging that heavy anchor of pain from her past squarely into your present. This isn't genuine vulnerability, it's often emotional bait, designed to hook your empathy and keep you ensnared. Second, she thrives in confusion and ambiguity, not clarity and stability. You'll notice a distinct pattern. The more you try to define the relationship, to understand where you stand, the vaguer and more elusive she becomes. One day, she's all in, showering you with affection, sending those sweet, affirming texts, making you feel like you're the chosen one, the center of her universe. Then, almost overnight, she'll turn cold, distant, perhaps even acting as if you're the clingy or demanding one for simply asking what's wrong or seeking reassurance. Here's the insidious trick. Some women, often due to their own chaotic upbringings or past relational traumas, confuse chaos with chemistry. They don't truly know what healthy, stable love feels like. So when you show up offering consistency, predictability, and genuine care, their nervous system can actually panic. It feels boring, unfamiliar. They crave the dramatic highs and the devastating lows because that's the emotional roller coaster their system has become addicted to. Not love, but adrenaline. If you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, perpetually unsure if today is a she loves me day or a she loathes me day, then congratulations. You're not building a loving relationship. You're trapped in an emotional maze she has expertly constructed, often for the unconscious purpose of maintaining control. Third on our list of critical indicators is when her proclaimed independence serves as a sophisticated cover for deep-seated emotional avoidance. Now, let me be crystal clear. True independence in a woman is a magnificent, beautiful trait. It speaks of self-reliance, inner strength, and a healthy sense of self. However, fake independence, the kind that's wielded like a shield, is a smokescreen. It often looks like, I don't need a man, I'm perfectly fine on my own, but it sounds and feels more like, I will never ever let you close enough to see my real wounds or vulnerabilities. She'll use her demanding career, her packed social schedule, even her extensive library of self-help books as fortifications around her heart. She won't truly lean on you emotionally, not in a way that fosters genuine interdependence. Instead, she'll preach about being unbothered, about how she doesn't catch feelings easily, framing this emotional detachment as a strength. But more often than not, this isn't strength. It's a profound fear of intimacy. Because to her, closeness equals risk, and risk, in her experience, has equated to pain. So, she'll keep you at arm's length, physically present, perhaps even sharing your bed, but emotionally unreachable. You could date her for months, even years, and still feel like a stranger to the deepest chambers of her soul, always on the outside looking in. Fourth, and this one is particularly tricky, is when she masterfully mirrors your desires, interests, and values, but seems to lack her own authentic emotional compass. Initially, this can feel incredibly intoxicating. You'll think, wow, I finally found her, the perfect woman. She laughs at all your jokes, even the terrible ones. She suddenly loves the same obscure music you do, champions the same causes, and seems to share your deepest held values. It feels like you're two halves of the same soul, effortlessly in sync. But here's the problem, and it's a significant one. She's not mirroring you because she genuinely shares these things, or because she's falling deeply in love with your authentic self. She's mirroring you because she's studying you. Women who tread these shadowed paths are often highly intelligent and possess a keen, almost predatory emotional intuition. Their manipulation can feel incredibly flattering at first, not toxic. But eventually, if you pay close attention, you'll start to notice the cracks in the facade. You'll realize she has no true stable self anchoring her. Her dreams and aspirations seem to shift based on who she's dating. Her opinions subtly change to align perfectly with yours, or with the perceived ideal she's trying to project. This isn't genuine alignment, it's calculated mimicry. And the moment you cease to be useful to her carefully constructed image of the perfect relationship, or if you dare to change or evolve, she'll either vanish like smoke or, even worse, subtly punish you for disrupting the illusion. It was never truly about connection. It was about maintaining a meticulously crafted mirage. The fifth sign is a subtle but powerful one. She secretly, and sometimes not so secretly, resents authentic masculine leadership. This woman will often say she wants a strong man, someone decisive and confident. However, when you actually embody that strength, when you make a firm decision, when you set a healthy boundary, when you calmly say no to something that doesn't align with your values, she suddenly feels controlled, stifled, or criticized. She'll test you constantly, pushing against every boundary you attempt to establish. Arguments will be masterfully flipped, leaving you feeling like you're the unreasonable one, the bad guy, even when you were simply trying to lead with integrity or protect the relationship's health. If you're not firmly grounded in your own sense of self, you'll start questioning your own masculinity, your judgment, your very sanity. But don't get it twisted, brother. This isn't about a healthy desire for equality or partnership. It's often about an unacknowledged ego battle. She doesn't truly want to walk beside you as an equal partner. She unconsciously wants to stay one step above, to be the one subtly pulling the strings. The moment she senses she can't dominate you emotionally, or that you see through her maneuvers, she'll find ways to make you feel guilty, inadequate, or toxic for even attempting to lead with quiet strength and conviction. A woman operating from this space doesn't truly want a partner. She wants a puppet she can label as a man, but treat like a subordinate. Finally, the sixth sign often plays out in the most intimate sphere of your connection. She uses sexuality as leverage, not as an expression of connection or affection. In the beginning, the physical intimacy might be absolutely magnetic, electric even. She might come across as incredibly sensual, confident, and sexually powerful, drawing you in with an almost irresistible allure. But over time, if you're paying attention, you'll notice a shift. Sex becomes transactional. She might withhold physical affection or intimacy when she's angry or doesn't get her way, using it as a silent punishment. She might subtly or overtly weaponize it during arguments, making reconciliation contingent on sexual appeasement. She uses it to gain the upper hand, to recalibrate the power dynamic in her favor, rather than to deepen the emotional bond between you. Many men underestimate the gravity of this because they think, well, we're still hooking up, so things must be fundamentally fine. No, my friend, more often than not, you're being pacified, distracted, and controlled. When she doesn't get what she wants in other areas of the relationship, she'll make you feel like you have to earn her body all over again, even though you may have already willingly given her your heart and soul. That isn't love. That's emotional manipulation strategically deployed in the bedroom, a tactic designed to keep you chasing and compliant. So, what now? Does this mean every woman you meet is secretly navigating a dark path, poised to lead you into emotional ruin? Absolutely not. That would be a cynical and untrue generalization, but it does mean that some women are indeed still dancing intimately with their own shadows, wrestling with unhealed wounds, and in their pain, they will unconsciously, or sometimes consciously, try to pull you into that darkness with them, often just to feel less alone in their own internal turmoil. If you recognize even 2 or 3 of these signs consistently manifesting in someone you're involved with, it's time to stop, take a deep breath, and resist the urge to panic or immediately lash out. But critically, do not ignore it. Because the unshakable truth is this: if a woman isn't emotionally healed, if she hasn't done the hard work of confronting her own demons and integrating her past traumas, she simply cannot love you in a healthy, sustainable way. She might desire you intensely, want your company, crave your presence and validation, but she will, almost inevitably, still break you or leave you feeling broken because she hasn't yet built the internal foundation necessary for a wholehearted connection. This dark path is real, and it's often paved with an irresistible trifecta of charm, chaos, and chemistry. Don't follow it blindly. Observe, reflect, and if you must walk away, summon the courage to do so with your soul intact, not shattered in the ensuing silence and confusion. And here's the part that no one really talks about enough in these dark feminine or toxic relationship conversations. Most men, after extricating themselves from a dynamic with a woman like this, don't just walk away unscathed. They often limp away emotionally, spiritually, sometimes even financially. They emerge feeling like perhaps they weren't enough. Maybe they were too nice, too soft, too trusting, too available, too something that caused the breakdown. But I need you to hear this and hear it clearly. You being a good, loving, and trusting person was never the problem. The real, fundamental problem was that she hadn't healed from her own deep-seated issues, and you, in your inherent goodness, made the mistake of thinking your love, your patience, your understanding could somehow fix what her own shadow self was still actively feeding on. Now, I'm not here to try and turn you into a cold, distant, cynical man who vows to never open his heart again. That's not strength, that's fear masquerading as pride, another form of woundedness. I'm here to remind you of something far deeper and more empowering. You are not crazy for loving deeply. You are not weak for wanting a genuine connection. And you are absolutely not broken just because she was incapable of seeing or cherishing your true value. Here's how you deal with her and every version of her you may encounter in the future without sacrificing your own compassionate nature and turning into someone you're not. You build boundaries as if they are sacred temple walls, because frankly they are. You stop over-explaining yourself to people who seem committed to misunderstanding you or twisting your words. You internalize deeply that chaos is not chemistry. It's often a desperate cry for help or a symptom of an unregulated nervous system, and it's not your job to be the permanent crisis manager. And crucially, you stop trying to fix women who haven't first committed to fixing themselves. Let me repeat that because it's foundational. You stop trying to fix women who haven't fixed themselves. You are not her father. You are not her therapist. You are not the protagonist in her redemption arc, some emotional knight in shining armor she's conjured in her mind for a Netflix drama of her own making. You are a man, a whole and complete individual, and that means you lead your life with calm, not chaos, with discernment, not desperation. Some women walk these shadowed paths not because they are inherently evil, but often because no one ever held them truly accountable for the ways they used their pain as a shield or a weapon. That accountability is not your burden to bear. Your primary job is to protect your peace, guard your energy, and stay aligned with your purpose, even if that means making the incredibly difficult decision to walk away from someone you once thought was the one. And when you do walk away, resist the powerful urge to hate her, to drag her name through the mud, to spiral into bitterness. That's the trap. That's how you lose twice, once in the relationship and again in the aftermath. Instead, if you can find it within you, bless her from a distance, wish her healing, and then thank whatever higher power you believe in. Thank God, the universe, fate, that he or it showed you her shadow before you invested the entirety of your soul. Because now with this hard-won wisdom, now you get to choose better. Now you get to protect your heart with the same ferocity and intelligence you use to protect your future. Remember this, brother, and let it sink into your bones. A man who truly knows his worth never fears being alone. What he fears is wasting himself, his precious time, energy, and love on someone who never truly deserved him in the first place. And you, my friend, are not destined for the dark path. You are made for the light. Now, go walk in it, loudly, unapologetically, and with your head held high.